Gents, wouldn't it be nice if you could boil looking good, dressing sharp, down to a simple equation? Something simple like TS equals MC squared. Now the reality is having style is a little bit more complicated than that. But believe it or not actually too much more complicated. To dress well, you just need to understand and leverage these 10 style fundamentals: fit, silhouette, quality, context, and colors, footwear, accessories, grooming, matching, and confidence. Gents, if you get the basics right on these 10 fundamentals, you're going to be ahead of 99% of men. In today's video, gents, I'm sharing with you the simple formula to dressing sharp every day. You ready, gents? Let's do this. So the first equation, fit is equal to tailoring times proportions and body type consideration. So by tailoring, I mean adjusting the clothing to fit the body you have or buying custom or bespoke clothing. By proportion and body type consideration, I mean taking into account the body you have, the shape, understanding what it is, and where you have outsized or undersized proportions. Now bringing these two together, I've got a multiplication sign. That's important to know because as you guys know with math, if you've got a 0 on any side of the equation, what happens? The whole result, no matter how high the other side, ends up being a 0.
0 isn't real.
And this is key because you can get custom clothing, but if you don't understand your proportions, if you don't understand your body type, it is going to be a fail. You can understand your body type and proportions, but unless you actually get your clothing adjusted, again, you will fail. The key here, especially when getting started, is to get a bit of both. Now, a cheat code here is finding a great tailor. Know their name, go in and take your clothing, have them measure you up, and all of a sudden adjust the clothing to fit the body that you have. Because yes, I know the majority of you guys don't have maybe your ideal body. You want to lose some weight, you want to gain some muscle, whatever it may be though, you've got to get dressed today and you want to present your best self. So get that proper fit, balance out your proportions, and whatever body type you have, move forward with confidence knowing you're wearing clothing that allows you to put your best foot forward. Now today's video, gents, is sponsored by my friends over at Ritual. Gents, if you haven't checked out Ritual, when you go over to their website, what you're going to find are clean, science-backed multivitamins and probiotics. Now for years, I've been taking their Essentials for Men. It has the 10 key nutrients that guys need, and 100% of the ingredients are traceable. And that's what I love about Ritual. They're 100% transparent about where everything comes from. You're also going to find that their multivitamins and probiotics have delayed release technology. This basically allows the capsule to, in many cases, bypass the stomach and actually release the ingredients where they're needed in the small intestine. And speaking of the intestines, you are a logical guy. You probably know that your gut health is incredibly important. Well, the reality is a lot of guys aren't taking care of their gut. They're not taking a prebiotic, they're not taking a probiotic, and they're not taking a postbiotic. Well, guess what? Ritual made it easy with their all-in-one Synbiotic Plus. It's basically a prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotic all in one. Gents, Synbiotic Plus not only helps to deal with digestive issues, but it can help keep your gut healthy and stable, especially when you're traveling. And gents, everything put out by Ritual is formulated without GMOs, without major allergens, or artificial colors. And they're vegan friendly. So gents, if you're ready to take control of your health, go over to ritual.com/RMRS25. When you use that link, you are going to save 25% off your first month, the best deal you're going to find on the web. Use it or lose it. Go check them out. Next up, we've got silhouette, which is classic shape plus structured fit times balance. Now by classic shape, we're talking timeless universal cuts which have proven themselves over time. By structured fit, we're talking about clothing that has structure to it, that brings a shape in design and can actually change the way that somebody sees you. Now balance, this is where it gets a bit subjective, but it's the overall harmony of the outfit. So your silhouette is your outline, your shape, what somebody sees from a distance when you're walking towards them. The silhouette of a man historically is easy to spot because of the width of the shoulders. The classic silhouette of a woman usually has wider hips and curves elsewhere. Now, why does silhouette matter? Because when you're meeting somebody for the first time, it's a quick judgment of health. Now you may be a heavyset guy in great shape, but if you're wearing clothing that accentuates your roundness, it's going to betray the message that you are a healthy individual. Or avoiding clothing combinations that cut you in half, like a light top and a dark bottom. And one of the great things about classical menswear is a lot of the pieces that have been with us for a long time. Suits, great example. These have been cut and designed in a way to accentuate masculine features. A suit not only trims up the waist, but because it's a monochromatic outfit, it allows the eyes to go up and down and makes you look taller and leaner. As many of you guys know, I used to own a custom clothier. I had a customer that had polio in his youth, and so one of his shoulders is really sloped. Well, we were able to build up the shoulders on that one side to give him a more even look. But even shirts can build up the shoulders. shoulders. Put a pair of epaulets on a linen button down, all of a sudden the shoulders are going to look more pronounced. And finally, balance is bringing it all together. Example here, we're going to play with proportions and lengthen the leg line. How to do that? We are actually going to go with a dark colored belt that matches the trousers. Why? A light colored belt, as you can see here, would lengthen the torso. A small but important detail for a man that wants to give off the image of looking a bit taller. Next up, we've got quality, materials times craftsmanship divided by cost. So one of the reasons historically that luxury items cost so much is the materials used to make them were very difficult to get. As an example, let's take a material that's been used in menswear for thousands of years, leather. Now, as you probably know, there's various quality levels of leather. But what you may not know is the highest quality cuts come from a very small section of the hide. Now, these cuts are sought after because they don't have blemishes and they are going to be resistant to water, and they're very pliable, able to bend thousands and thousands of times and return back to their original shape no problem. Now, the lower quality cuts usually have some of those characteristics, but definitely not all of them. As such, because of that material's limited availability, the price and demand for it, basic economics, would shoot it up. Now, the second part of that equation is the craftsmanship, the skill level of the artisan that's actually working with the materials. Now, sewing, if you ask most people, seems to be a pretty simple thing that most people don't even know how to do, and once they get into it, they realize to actually sew a simple pair of trousers, that takes quite a bit of skill. Well, believe it or not, a skilled trouser cutter, basically somebody working on Savile Row that is focused on one of the lower level parts of the suit, the trousers. Well, most shops are going to demand you got at least 7 years of experience, not counting the years it took you to have the basic skills to do the work. If you want to be a jacket cutter, think 10 years. In fact, most of the skilled tailors I've met in my lifetime usually started off very young getting into this, maybe in countries that didn't have the strictest child labor laws. But yeah, I was having a conversation with a master tailor over in Bangkok, 25 years experience in his late 30s, and he felt that he was just getting started. Now, of course, all of us want great quality materials. All of us want great craftsmanship in whatever we get. But the denominator there is cost. A Savile Row suit could easily set you back $8,000. A pair of custom Rocket Buster boots out of El Paso, $20,000. Now, those are extreme examples very few of us will ever pick up in a lifetime. Instead, because most of us have priorities elsewhere, we are going to compromise on the quality. We are going to compromise on the craftsmanship and find something that actually works out really well for our particular needs. The next style fundamental, context is equal to dress code adherence times personal style. Now, by context, what I'm talking about is situational appropriateness of the clothing that you're wearing. That suit may look great on you, but it's not the right clothing for the gym. You may love your boots and that casual Western wear, but how are you going to dress for that fancy New York wedding you got an invite to? So first up, let's talk about dress code adherence. A lot of you guys are thinking, Antonio, there's no dress code for where I'm going. No, there's always a dress code. Just look around. The way people are dressing, it may be an unspoken dress code, but people are judging others based off how they dress, their rank, their position in the company, at the party. And if you truly don't believe there's a dress code, just walk around in your underwear and see what happens. Heck, even the weather and the local culture can affect the dress code. If you're going to a beach wedding in Hawaii, if you showed up in an aloha shirt, that would actually probably be appropriate. While if you were at a beach wedding in Cancun, maybe a Wayabera would be a better choice. And right with this, we've got your personal style. So personal style is where you can bring in your culture. You can bring in the styles that you like. Some of you guys do like to dress up a little bit more formal. Other you guys quite a bit more casual, Western, goth, whatever it may be. You can always find a way to bring in a little bit of flavor and still dress appropriate for the situation. Next up, let's talk about colors. The equation here is that neutral colors are always greater than accent colors. Now, accent colors can be great. They definitely get noticed. They can add pop to an outfit. But your day-to-day workhorse neutral colors are going to be the ones that should fill up the majority of your wardrobe. Gray, navy, white, black, browns. These are the colors that are versatile, easy to mix and match, and are going to form the base of everything you wear. Your bold accent colors, think of them like a spice. You add just a bit to the dish, it brings out the flavor, but add too much and it overpowers. Next up, we've got footwear. Quality plus style times condition. So quality, we talked about this earlier, but that's the material, that's the craftsmanship, that usually is reflected in a higher price. So style, what I'm talking about here is the appropriateness and the timeliness of the design. In general, with menswear, you want to go with shoes, especially if you're going to spend good money, that you are going to be able to get miles out of. For those of you guys who are a little bit more fashion forward, maybe you're into sneakers, you want something that's going to be more of a flash in the pan, but great for this season, going to get you some attention. Understand that you can bend the rules here. And if this is where you want to spend your money on style, so be it. Have fun with it. And you can definitely get more points making this the centerpiece of your outfit. But in any case, all of that can be negated down to zero if the condition is not good. So your white sneakers, keep them white. Your dress shoes, keep them polished. Next up, we've got accessories. Quality plus function plus subtlety. So accessories can be anything from neckwear to watches to jewelry to headwear to sunglasses. As a man, I always feel the key to having a great accessory is that it actually functions. It does the job it was designed and intended to do. A watch, especially if mechanical, should tell accurate time to within a certain degree of error, should work with the clothing that you're wearing, be durable if that is its intention, and maybe just add a bit of flash, a bit of panache to the outfit. A hat should protect you from the elements. If you're going to be down south, wearing a Panama to keep the sun off of your head makes perfect sense and adds a lot to your style and image. Now, the quality of the accessory can sometimes be easy to measure. On a briefcase, you look at the quality of the leather, you look at the build and the stitching, the artisan work. On watches, it can be more of an art because really what's the difference between a $200 mechanical versus a $2,000 versus a $20,000 versus a $200,000 mechanical? Maybe some precious metals, precious stones, but most likely all of them are going to tell time pretty much the same. No, it often just comes down to priorities and what do people find value in. And last but not least, subtlety. The idea here is not going overboard with the accessories, not going for something too flashy. Instead, maybe even opting for an accessory that's a bit more muted, flies under the radar, yet you know, and maybe somebody else in the know knows that this is of high value, a very interesting and unique piece. Next up, we've got grooming, hygiene, plus maintenance, times consistency. So when it really comes down to it, good grooming is about routines, is about habits. Oral hygiene, showering, changing your clothes every single day. Trimming body hair, taking care of hair in the nose, in the ears, trimming your nails weekly. Haircuts, you want to have it scheduled. For some guys, every 2 weeks, other people every 4 weeks. And again, notice the multiple here is consistency. You don't want to miss a turn. Otherwise, it can negate everything. The next principle is bringing things together. Matching. Solids plus patterns plus texture times layering. Now, solids are where it all starts, getting to those neutral colors. This is going to make up the majority of your wardrobe. Patterns, from stripes to checks to small repeating patterns to dots to paisley. You've got quite a few options here. In general, though, if you're just getting started with style, keep patterns to a minimum. The rule to understand here is the more vivid the pattern, the more difficult it's going to be to match this item. And the more memorable that item is going to be, so it's going to be less interchangeable. That being said, if you want to have fun with patterns and colors, bring them into smaller accessory pieces. Pocket squares, neckties, occasionally a shirt, and if so, stick with stripes initially and then maybe bring in checks. Now, texture oftentimes gets overlooked, but it's something you need to understand because you can have two fabrics of the same color, but the texture is going to give them a very different overall feel. A navy blue silk tie next to a navy blue cashmere sweater. They're both navy blue, but the textures clearly indicate these are made from different materials. Now, the multiplier here is layering. And when I say layering, it's more than just simply putting clothing on top of each other. It's also the mixing and matching and bringing it all together. The best advice I can give you on matching and layering is to play the imitation game. Find an outfit, find a clothing combination that you like, and try to replicate that look. By doing so, you're going to start to understand which colors, which patterns, which textures work together. Next up, we've got confidence, self-knowledge, plus experience. To the positive mindset. Know who you are. Understand your capabilities, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Practice dressing well. Put together outfits when you don't need them, so when you do, all of a sudden it's second nature. When you meet people, you're out and about, put off positive energy. Assume that people like you, and most likely they will. So what do you think, gents? Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and keep watching here at Real Men Real Style. I got you covered with another super awesome video. Boom, right here. Check it out. I know that you will love it. Oh yeah, right here. Boom, click, go check it out. Solid video right there.